Hey, GLP-1 plus size community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things. Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
"20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
Yeah, that's what sucks. Yeah. I'm curious. So I'll tell you, when I took Senda, I've taken because of insurance. I've taken Victoza and Senda, which are the same. The doses are just different, same kind of thing. And I did have success on it, and that is when I first experienced no food noise. But I had to get to a pretty high dose. But it did blow my mind when it happened, because it was like just one day, and like going back to like you talking about like ADHD, and like I'll talk about like anxiety a little bit. And like you said, there's no clinical data on this. I hope there is. Everything got quiet for me. It wasn't just I need to constantly ingest food. It was just like I could hear myself think, and I was like, I just had a stroke. I must be having a stroke. Something's going on. Like, I here I am taking the next diet thing again. Look what have you done to yourself now, Kim? It was like that. And then I was like, oh no, maybe this is what was wrong. And what am I going to do, to basically like take advantage of this, because it's such a gift to be able to have this, like, obviously, like with what it costs, and especially here in the States, but eventually my insurance was like, you haven't lost enough weight on Senda. So I had to switch, and I was able to switch to Ozempic off label. And I took that for a long time, and I lost most of my weight on that. And then eventually I hit a stage where, and I do think it was mostly, the doctors say mostly stress. I was going through a lot of stress. Like my dad has cancer. My sister had cancer. We needed to get her liver transplant. She almost died. Like it was a lot. Plus TikTok, the podcast was exploding. It was just, I was not losing, but I had an opportunity to switch to Mounjaro. And I would say honestly, like in terms of Mounjaro versus Ozempic, I actually think Ozempic handled my anxiety better in general. And I just think that, like, I don't know, that's what it was like for me. But I think
isn't Mounjaro mostly a GIP with a little bit of GLP-1, whereas Ozempic is mostly it's all a GLP-1. So maybe the GLP-1 is the bit that's doing that. And because Mounjaro is actually, it's not really a GLP-1, it's a GIP.
Right. Yeah, it only has a little GLP-1.
75% GIP. So maybe in that doesn't work it may work better for the weight loss, but as far as the other issues, a higher GLP-1 makes it works
totally
better.
And I think that GIP for me, though, that for me got rid of my inflammation so much that it was so much easier for me to move my body throughout the world. So I was like, I'll just take something else for the anxiety, because that, to me, that one, right. It was like, I did lose more weight, right? But nowhere near as much as I was on Ozempic. But I think that's more based on time, like how long I was on it, and the fact that I've always been in a big body. I don't think I'm going to be a skinny person. Like, I'm not a hyper responder. I'm kind of a slower loser. But still, 110 pounds is a lot of weight altogether over the year, Yeah. So, and
but as we get smaller, weight loss is slower. So, like, I lost 3 stone really quickly. But it's taken me 2 months now to just lose 1 stone. So whereas before I was losing a stone a month. So as I'm getting closer to target, I've only got a stone left, 14 pounds. It's much, much slower.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's so true. And then I think we also, Dr. Rosen, I'm telling you, like, and all the doctors have told us, like, these stalls are totally normal, because our body's like, wait a second, it's trying to regulate. It's trying to send us noise again, right? Like,
it's
always trying to fight us, That's why.
And like, I was actually the opposite of Kim when it comes to like my anxiety and stuff. Mine is better on Mounjaro than it was ever on Ozempic. My impulsivities, my food noise, all the noise in my head, it's gone from my autism, the stuff that runs from there, the stuff that runs from the food. It's all just it's not there. I can sit and think like a regular person, or what I assume a regular person thinks.
We don't know what that really means.
Do we?
It's like,
what's going on in other people's heads.
But I assume I'm doing what I think everybody else does, like, because like you're at a restaurant or something and you look across the way, and there's another person at a table, and they almost look at peace, where in my head it was like constant chaos. So I'm assuming.
I'm wondering, Naz, if you could tell us, like, with so the terms of the process. So Charlie's like, I'm going to send in my stuff. I'm going to fill out the thing. I know I send in my picture. I got my medical stuff, fill out the form. I'm wondering, one, kind of how long that takes, who that goes to, and how you work with that person, right, to get her, I would say, like, prescribe the medicine, and then also, like, cared for while she's on it. Because, like, one thing we've learned is, like, at least in the States, is like having a doctor that kind of understands how to manage the side effects and like help you through that if you have them seems to be really important. I'm wondering if you guys, and I would not say we do it good here. We need to do it much better. But do you guys have that there? Is that system set up?
Yes, absolutely. So it's in the UK, it's a process that is constantly developing. We're learning every day. We're learning every week. And we're having to react very quickly to keep up with what people require in order to have a successful weight loss journey. So in order to go back to the process, so it wasn't just Charlie found us, sent us all these pictures on a scale and said, hey, can I have it? No, it was, when you're offering healthcare, especially online, there are many safeguards in place. And that's why the whole image upload feature exists. So typically, if I was to describe what the process looks like now, let's say you have found a website, and it's not just Cloud Pharmacy in the UK, there are many. You would go onto the website and you would submit a consultation for weight loss. Now, this consultation has been designed by each company's medical team. We have to ensure that we're creating a clear picture of someone's health. Now, within that, we're also asking about diet, exercise, what other medication they're taking. Do they have any issues with their liver or their kidneys? Have they had history of gallstones? Because we have to take all that into account before we decide to prescribe. Once we have that, sometimes we might find that we would like more information. Now, that can involve, if you have a certain health condition, we will request a letter or an email from your own doctor. So we call them GP in the UK. So your general practitioner would write something to us, just for further clarity. if we need anything further, at that point, we will ask someone to take a picture and upload it, because people can lie about their weight. So we're conscious of that. So we have, we essentially have a screening team just to make sure that somebody who should not get this medication is not getting it, because that is also a big risk online. Not everybody's honest. After that, it goes to the medical team. The medical team, so with us, comprises of 5 prescribers. They will review the consultations. They will send a message or give a call to, say, Charlie, to say, hey, I can see that you've submitted a consultation for weight loss. They can submit a preference for Mounjaro, Wegovy, or Senda, but based on the consultation, if the prescriber feels that one might be better than the other, they will then have that conversation before prescribing. In terms of timeline so far with us, and the reason we're so popular is that we can actually work on a same-day consultation dispatch. So because the medical team are constantly working, you can submit a consultation at 1 p.m. On a Monday, and providing that the medical team have approved it, it will be shipped out and delivered to you the following day. So it is as simple as that.
How long have you been able to do this digitally? Because that's something that started during the pandemic for you guys, or before that?
I would say 2019. So before COVID.
Wow.
Before COVID.
Just in time. So is it,
Yeah.
do you guys have less red tape because you don't have to go through the healthcare system?
We have more red tape. So when you operate online, there's a lot more diligence required. So it's, I would argue that having it prescribed from your doctor is easier. So with us, we have to show how well we are managing patients. So in terms of a review, we have to create a communication channel for patients so that if they do need extra support, and some people do, and what we do with those patients is they are assigned a prescriber, and a prescriber will have a follow-up calendar to ensure that this person is getting all the attention that they need. We're in the process of building an app actually for all of our patients free of charge, and what that does is it will have, like you said, diet plans, exercises. We find that with Cloud Pharmacy, we do not just want to give you Mounjaro, Wegovy, Ozempic, and say, hey, on you go, just inject once a week and you'll be fine. We see obesity as a disease, and actually in conversations with Lily, what we want to push is, this isn't cheating. And as everyone here is, putting content online, I'm sure you all have these comments saying, you're taking it away from the diabetics. This is why there's a shortage. But obesity can really affect your life. It can really cause damage to other organs. So by treating obesity, you can really improve someone's quality of life. And that's what we want to push. So if we were going to discuss a timeline and a price, it's, let's say it's $150 a month is what I put it into the conversion calculator. So you can get it delivered for $150 a month and the ongoing care in the UK.
Wow. That's incredible. And so so in our country, sometimes you can get like Semaglutide, like a compound version because of the shortage, and you can pay a telehealth, but you're probably going to pay $50 a month for the telehealth plus the pounds of medicine. So still twice as much really as what you're talking about, and that's for Semaglutide. And you guys are doing branded Mounjaro when you're able to do that.
So Naz, just a couple questions, mainly out of my curiosity for understanding how stuff works there. So let's say that let's say Charlie went to her doctor and got prescribed the medication through her general practitioner. Can she or another person still come to Cloud Pharmacy to get it filled, or does the doctor fill the script for you similar to what cloud pharmacy is doing, if my question makes sense.
No, I understand what you're saying. So yes, if because in the UK they again, it's very new. It's not very easy to get it on the NHS, which is our National Health Service, as Charlie explained. So typically, I would say, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but it's a very, very small percentage, single figures, of patients that have a private doctor. And what would happen is, if it was a private doctor, they would prescribe you the medication, but yes, you would still have to come to us to get it filled.
Okay, and then when you guys in instances such as Charlie, where you're prescribing it and filling it, do you guys have the ability to like request additional like blood work or other things to just kind of see how her body is responding to that medication? Or would that be an instance where one of your prescribers would send Charlie a message like, hey, we would like you to go see your general practitioner and have a conversation about this?
Yes. So how it would work is the prescriber would send a message or get in touch and say, hey, can you speak to your GP about regular monitoring for, as an example, HbA1c is something we often have to refer for.
Okay.
Typically, we have patients that are taking metformin for type 2 diabetes, but nothing to, but they're not using any injectable insulin. So on that basis, and providing that their blood sugar levels are within a specific range, we can prescribe Mounjaro. But then we have to ensure that the doctor is keeping an eye on their HbA1c levels. So we have to make that referral daily.
Oh, interesting. So considering the way this works in terms of, them going through you and it's not being processed through the NHS, like not through that system, it sounds like, how is negotiation of the price coming into play? Because we're wondering, like in our country, like now we have PBMs, which we've identified are straight trash, and cause a lot of problems.
Pharmacy benefits managers.
Yeah, pharmacy benefits managers. And they were originally designed to basically like negotiate, right, the prices with the drug companies and the insurance company and kind of be this middleman. But what they've done is they found a way, what we've been learning is to kind of create rebates, which is actually helping them make money off these very high priced medications.
And lots
as opposed to bitching and whining, saying they're not, and that they're paying this huge price, but they're not. But still, even with that going in place and you having that, it's still, let's say you can use a coupon, it's still $550, $600 a month for Mounjaro or for Zepbound. So if people, that's what, you have to take care if you're have obesity and not diabetes. That's what, in theory, you can try for off label. That used to be a thing like a year ago. It's really difficult now to get insurance to cover it that way. Your doctor can prescribe it off label and you can pay full cash price, of $1,000 to $1,400 a month, depending on which one you're taking. But even in the States, especially with us talking that we're very close to dollar for dollar in terms of UK, like that's a shit ton of money. You know what I'm saying? Like most people here cannot afford this. Certainly a tremendous amount of people at the poverty level have obesity and they definitely can't, So, and it's not on many Medicaid plans, which is like, that's done in our states. And that's like a separate plan, a governmental plan through the states. And for lower income, basically. I'm oversimplifying, but that's kind of how it's set up here. So it's really complicated. But when we had the CEO of Novo Nordisk come, he was basically saying the price is different for everyone here because of your PBMs. And he was like, we don't set the list price, or we don't set what the patient's going to pay. But he does still have a list price. Like there still is a number. And then he was telling recently when he was testifying, he said, when we come and we tell you how much it's going to cost, he's like, there are times where I've lowered the price of insulin, a time where he did. And because it wasn't a big thing that they could do a rebate for and make money for, they took him off of formularies. So therefore he didn't have much business. And most of his business is coming from the United States for people that have health insurance. And so that's what we've been kind of learning. And they've been talking in our country about reforming PBM. Like, so, but nobody here, no government official, and there is no regulation of these PBMs that helps that not happen. So is there something like what goes on with you guys being able to provide this for $150, like US dollars, a month? Like what's happening there?
So because we are so let's say nobody's subscribing to us as a private healthcare service. It's we are providing, essentially one-off consultations for, not just weight loss, erectile dysfunction, hormone replacement. So on this occasion, we're talking about weight loss. So it's just, I want a consultation for weight loss. This medical team can provide that. They provide it and they will fulfill it at this cost. So what we can do is, so in the UK, we work with so if it was Novo, or in this occasion, it's Lilly, we work with Lilly directly, meaning that there's no middleman. Okay. All the stock that's manufactured is manufactured based on our requirements. So, we can say, which also helps with the shortages. So we can say, hey, we're going to need, 5, 10, 100, a million doses of Mounjaro over the next 12 months. They'll forecast and build that in, and there's nobody in the middle, making money. Or what I feel as if happens in these PBMs, and there's something fairly similar within the NHS, is that different organizations almost complicate things in order to line their own pockets. Because we work directly with the manufacturer, and believe it or not, as it might seem that manufacturers are all just focused on profit, I truly do believe that Lilly are interested in making the world a better place, because they can make the price a lot more if they wanted to, because the drug is that good. But there's a lot of cost that goes into the research and development, especially with such a new drug. And just getting it right.
For that, I was told America is paying. The reason why you will pay more is because America is paying for the research and development.
Yes.
No one else does. Surely it'd be better to split that up and just add on £10. Like, it would only,
believe it or not, that came up in the hearing.
It would only make it be 10% more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we account for 70% of Novo Nordisk's revenue. But when they brought it up, guys, like, because they've been digging into this PBM problem, right? Like, what's going on? Because it's not Mounjaro, it's not just these medicines. Like, it's cancer medicines. It's
everything in our country.
Everything. Insulin. Like, I mean, it's bad.
They legally
doing this. Yeah.
There was a legal intervention for insulin prices. They were just so outrageous.
And we don't usually do that.
The US had to get, the government had to get involved.
So it does seem like, I think that because I will tell you, the narrative is that in the States is that other countries regulate and will not have medications that cost $1,000 a month for their country. And the narrative is that it's not, they do that. They regulate the prices for those things, right? Which I think is true for certain medicines that you're doing in terms of NHS, I think, from what you're saying, but not necessarily with these medicines, right? The more of the proactive things. Okay. But still, so that's a farce, right? So
this isn't because of England's regulations that it's that price. It's just that price because that's the price that Lilly is selling it for to English.
That's crazy, Carly. Oh my God.
But it sounds
in the hearing, it was it the PBMs get 70% of
74% is what they're taking away
of the dollar
of the medicine.
Of the medicine.
Yeah.
Naz, I want to make sure I heard you correctly. You guys actually, so like your pharmacy, your company, or maybe somebody within the UK, you guys actually go to Novo Nordisk and you're like, hey, for the next 12 months, we anticipate selling 10 million ejections of, let's say, Mounjaro 12.5. You guys then work out with them that they're going to manufacture specifically for you guys that those 10 million shots, and then based off of that, that they're going to get delivered because they're going to manufacture that specifically for you guys, and then during that time frame, the prices is also negotiated. Am I hearing that right, or am I missing a step?
So in regards to the prices never negotiated. The price always remains the same.
Oh, okay.
The price always remains the same. It does differ for the different doses, but yes, the price stays the same. There's no rebate, but we can guarantee the stock.
Wow.
But we can guarantee the stock
Unbelievable.
But I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine the emails that we would get if we? And actually, if you're starting someone on a treatment, and hey, let's say you're getting on really well, and it's month 3, and you're feeling, and this is the reason that I love this. I love these treatments. Or people are feeling like the best versions of themselves. Yeah. Suddenly, they're more confident. They're getting better jobs, and relationships are better. And I love hearing these stories. So much so to the point where I actually feel like having on our service a testimonial page, because totally. it's really heartwarming to hear these stories. But yes, we could not start someone for 3 months and then say, hey, we don't have the stock for the next month or 2, or we don't know when that's going to happen. We couldn't do that. That's not providing responsible healthcare, and that's at the core of what we want to do. So we discussed, our pricing is circa $150 a month, including delivery. That's not so. When there are providers that charge a lot more. It can be double, but our ethos is we want to make healthcare accessible for everyone. So we want to make sure that anybody who can access it knows that regardless of the dose. And companies do it. They'll say, here's a code, a welcome dose, but then the next month they recoup the money that they've discounted you. So what our approach has been is we will keep it at fair pricing all the way through, so there's no surprises, because you are correct. This medication is so expensive, and what I always liken it to. So I have a car that costs me $150 a month, and I think that is the cost of this treatment. It's so expensive. So let's provide the most value in the service that we can.
Yeah. So in terms of like maintenance, so when Charlie gets down to her next 15, where she kind of wants to be, but she knows, like, because she has obesity, right? She knows she's going to regain, and it's not her fault. We discussed why, right? How her BMI is not what it is anymore. So it's going through you. Will she be able to be on a maintenance dose? Like, how are you going to handle that, or how do you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's you touched on earlier on. It was discussed about the body being in a disease state, and it's not as simple as I'm going to do more activity, I'm going to eat less calories. That doesn't necessarily work for everyone. Everyone's bodies are different, and sometimes it just cannot be explained. So if someone's body, operates better having the use of GLP-1s, we are willing to support patients to be on it lifelong. I mean, ideally that wouldn't be the case given how much it costs. It's quite a big payment to be making every month. However, if somebody does require it for the rest of their lives, we will support that. In regards to the BMI, yes, it started obesity with BMI over 30 or 27 with certain health conditions. Ethnicity also comes into play. So in some occasions, it's a BMI of 24 is appropriate for them to start in the UK.
That's fantastic. You take that into consideration. We don't do that here. That's awesome.
Yep.
Sorry. Hallelujah.
No, absolutely. It's you. Oh, you don't at all?
No.
27 BMI for everyone.
Honestly, the insurance companies are actually starting to change it and be like, it's got to be 35.
Yeah.
Like they're practicing medicine.
Food has definitely been a very dominant voice in my head. That's not the main focus anymore. Dieting, exercising, and adding GLP-1s through Ro is a game changer. I have such a sense of mental freedom since I started with Ro. Food no longer controls my thoughts. Family time used to revolve around food, and now it revolves around what we're gonna go do together.
Or they're being like, nah, you can only go, you have to go up every month in your dose. No, you have to. It's unbelievably bad.
Unfortunately, our insurance companies and the PBMs, they play a bigger role in
They practice medicine.
Yeah, they do. They practice medicine. They tell people, you know, what you can be on, how long you can be on it. Like they will toe to
keep your
toe
ass
with
off
your
for 6 months.
doctor
Yeah.
for freaking prior authorizations for stuff that they've already prescribed you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we have the, you know, 12-year degree here, and we're saying this patient needs this, and you've got somebody with a 4 years master, you know, a master's degree or whatever, arguing with them over what's needed. It's crazy in the US with a lot of it, with this stuff.
You know, it makes me think of, so when we bought this house, he was an investor, so it was a rental before we purchased it. And he's not from the US. And I asked him, okay, so what are the differences between where you're from and here? And he said, well, come to the US if you want to build a business. Come to the US if you want to kind of generate some income. He said, but do not get sick in the US. I'll go back home.
Wow.
Literally, I have full control, like, over my own health journey with this medication, with NAS or the other pharmacies, like, to support me and advise me. But if I want to stay on 2.5 for a month, then I stayed on 5 milligram for 3 months. I've been on 7.5 for 2 months. I just did my first 10 milligram last night.
How's it feel?
So far, fine.
10 is a good one. I've never heard anybody say they don't like 10
really yet.
Well, somebody in our community, she calls it big man 10.
Every time I start a new dose, I usually don't do particularly great at eating for a couple of days. It's only for a couple of days, then it's fine again, and I'm eating an appropriate amount of food. But usually when I first start a new dose, eating is problematic, but I know it's short-lived, and I know it's not going to do me any long-term harm because it's a couple of days. But yeah, I just say, you know, I just go online, I order the dose I want. I ordered for my mum, because my mum orders from Cloud, and I ordered her the wrong dose by accident because it's a drop down. And I ordered her going backwards a dose. And actually it wasn't by mistake. My mum was having bad side effects on that one. She wanted to go backwards a dose, but before they accepted the order, the pharmacist messaged my mum saying, are you sure you meant to do that? And then my mum was like, yeah, I wanted to do that. And then they sent it, but they just double checked that she hadn't made a mistake, because once they send it, you can't really return them, you know. So
that's what it should be like.
And she went down a dose because she fancied doing down because she didn't like the side effects, and then she's gone back up again now, but she just needed a bit more time on the lower one.
And see, the argument that people make in this country cannot, anytime someone says to me from now on, anytime someone says to me, and thank you for this, guys, says to me, oh yeah, but their healthcare system is a mess, like you'll be in the ER, all these. No, because when it comes to these medicines, that's not a thing. That's not how it's done. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not, but they're lumping it together. They're not understanding. This is such a good episode that these are like, they just do it totally different. You know, that's how we should be doing it.
There's another TikToker called Andrea who is a customer of Cloud. She talks about that on her own TikTok page. She works on boats. She works on yachts, really big, fancy, rich people yachts, and like, and I mean like the mega rich, like
big
yachts.
Yeah.
And housekeeper on the yacht. But she was able to buy, I think, a 6-month supply, because she was going on. She explained her situation. I'm going out of country for 6 months. I won't be able to get my medication. Can I buy? She bought like 6 months, I think, worth, and she took them. She had to guess her doses a bit, because obviously she didn't know what she'd need when. So she did have to kind of make a bit of a guess on. So I think she bought like 2 months of each one. And then she's just going to have to move that regardless, even if she didn't really need to, because that's the one she has. So there was, she just bought. She explained her situation, and then was appropriately prescribed for her situation.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's huge. Gosh, it should be like that. It's crazy that it's not. You know, I don't know.
You guys just fired Kim up even more. We were already fired up.
I'm going to be getting on TikTok and be like, let me just tell you what Charlie
and Charlie and Naz, is it like that if you go through your National Health Service as well? Is it still just as easy to move from dose to dose?
No, he's saying it goes through.
No. It's not easy to get it on the National Health Service at all. So those the criteria is very different. So, you know,
You have to do that weight management plan that I was talking about earlier. So you have to do that for bariatric or the Mounjaro. So again, you're looking at about 2-3 years before you'd be prescribed this. And even then, when you get to the end of that, they would rather put you on the surgery table and cut you open and remove half your stuff.
Wow. So
you guys got some stuff messed up.
That's messed up. They would rather take out half your stomach than give you an injectable medication. I don't know why. And it is not actually completely rolled out as a whole UK service yet to even get Mounjaro on the NHS postcode lottery, zip code lottery, similar. So whatever. So we have NHS trusts. So we have a trust which is like basically that particular department is in charge of the medical care for those people that live in that area. So you might live in an area where the trust allows you to be prescribed Mounjaro, but you might live in an area where the trust does not allow you to be prescribed Mounjaro. So it's a lottery with your postcode, which is a zip code.
Wow.
Okay.
Do people use other addresses?
Well, they have your history, don't they? Because it's the NHS government. They know where you are, so you can't really lie about that. So some people have had it on the NHS without diabetes. I have come across a handful of people. And given that I talk to people all day long online, thousands of people, it's a handful of people. If you've got type 2 diabetes, you're more likely to be prescribed it, although it's still more so the Ozempic. You might get Mounjaro, and even then it's usually if your blood sugars are under control, they'll stop moving you up. So they're not giving you weight loss doses.
So Naz, when things change and you guys eventually get zepbound, are you going to lead with zepbound to give people or will you replace it? Will you just have zepbound and not Mounjaro? Or like right now, do you do Ozempic and wegovy, or are you just prescribing wegovy? How does that work? Because I know wegovy goes up higher, but Mounjaro and zepbound are the exact same, like dose and everything.
Right. Yeah. So it's we always just offer both. We offer them all, even though clinically they're the same. We would offer each and every single one because certain patients, even with, for example, wegovy and Ozempic, people will say, "Hey, Ozempic works better for me, so I want to use the Ozempic." So it's easier as a provider just to offer all variations as long as it's clinically safe. That's okay.
Do we know if we're getting zepbound, Naz? Like, is that been talked about? Like, are we getting that brand? Is it just a brand? It's just a different brand name, isn't it?
It's I take both because of the shortage. I've had to bounce around to find my dose, and I'm able to get prescribed both because I have obesity, right? But so I've been able to. So I have. I've been able, like in the States, I've taken both. They're exactly the same. No change at all.
Yeah, the formula is identical.
So, at this moment in time, they will not be introducing zepbound into the UK.
Wow.
Because it is the same. It is the same. But I mean, if you... Yeah. The pen is different. So the pen, I don't know if you've seen the pen that we use in the UK.
Our pen is the same. Yeah.
Oh, you use that pen as well?
See a pen.
Interesting. Oh, let me see your pen. That's your Mounjaro pen?
Yeah, so it comes without a...
Oh, wow.
This is a used one. Yeah. So this is the end of my 7.5 because I started my 10 last night. So this is a used one. Once you get to the end of the pen, even though there is a little bit of medication still in there, the pen locks.
Oh my God.
You can't twist it to get any of that.
That looks a lot like the Ozempic pen.
But you put a needle on it.
Yeah. That's how Ozempic one works. And I love that pen so much better. It's so much better. So is that one dose though?
4 doses.
That
so you change the needle.
It's like Ozempic. You also have less stuff.
Yeah, so you put a new needle on it every time. So now there's a tiny needle.
Yeah.
And then you turn this. This is
do it again, Kim.
This is a used pen now, and it's the end of it. It's locked. But you would turn that until number 1 appears.
Yes.
And then you would push that in you to 0. And then the next week you'd put a new needle on, turn to 1, push it in. You do that 4 times over, once a week.
Oh my God. I love that. I'm telling you, I tell people all the time, the Ozempic pen is the best one because you don't feel it and there's no like really
Right.
dramatic like injector, and it's one pen. So you don't have four. Think about like, that's better for the environment. That's better
Yeah,
for
no more wasted
manufacturing.
plastic.
Oh, but
Yes.
I do love doing compound because like, you got to draw the
Oh
yourself.
No.
It's like Breaking Bad. You got to watch it go.
I can't. You
I really love it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we can't get
I
compound
used to
here.
be so afraid of
Illegal.
needles. Now I'm like, stick me.
It's illegal. Compound's illegal over
honestly,
there.
compound
Really
there, you don't need it. Like, because
No, we don't need it, although it is happening. So there's someone
Oh, it
on
is
TikTok called Slim Pen. He's even got a pen like this. It doesn't say Mounjaro on, but it's a pen. And he sells 60 milligram Mounjaro pens. And what he says to do is to do a 2.5 milligram dose. You do 25 clicks because these click.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You count, and it's got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you turn to number 25 on his pen. That's 25 clicks to give yourself a 2.5 dose. And he says each pen lasts you 3 months.
Oh,
and it's £200 for a pen that lasts 3 months.
Yeah.
Every time you report the account,
compound, and that's
and you don't know what it is in there.
No,
like you just don't know.
Yeah.
He says it's all lab tested. He's based in Dubai.
Wow.
He's based in Dubai.
Oh,
He
that's
only
nasty.
shows his hands on the video and the pens. So there's no face. It's just the camera's like here, and it's just showing the pen. I don't know why people would think of buying medication that you're going to inject. You're going to inject it into you, and you've not even seen the face of the person that you're buying it from. But people will do it because they're desperate. People are desperate to solve their problem, and they will do it because they're desperate. And I think that actually the BMI criteria needs to come way down.
Yeah.
I
love that you guys consider the 24. Like, I think that's huge. You know, like, that's such a big deal. Like, I saw Dr. Crotty, you know, he's Irish, but he's on our show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was just posting about like us having this new thing called the body roundness index, which is more about like the circumference and stuff of your body and like the adipose tissue, which I think is, I hope that we start to have that here so that we can consider that.
I think that they should do it based on, say for instance, with me, I've lost my weight 5 or 6 times previously. Right. So if at the point I'm regaining, I should, and this was out at this point. So I've lost my weight now naturally.
Right.
I did it by myself. Yay me. I'm better than everyone else because I can do it all by myself.
Right.
Sarcasm is coming across here. I've done it all by myself. And but now I'm regaining. I would not be allowed this medication.
Yeah.
I'd have to wait till I'm fat again.
So, yes, that's hard for sure.
I think if you've got a history of losing and regaining, or you've been to the doctor several times and you are currently gaining.
Right.
You might not be overly large yet, but you are currently gaining and you are struggling. Yeah. You should be allowed to have it before you're obese.
Because I know that they are testing that like now. I don't know if you know about that, but like Eli Lilly is doing tests. They just started doing tests to people who struggle just like that to say, hey, maybe we can keep you from never becoming obese. I love the idea of that.
Because the argument we give a lot of the diabetics with us taking this and taking their meds is that we are taking it to prevent type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
So why can we also not take it to prevent obesity?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I totally agree. Before you go through the mental trauma, before you go through the years of unhappiness, if you're gaining and you're only a stone or 2 overweight, but you are gaining and you can't stop it, give them the jab.
Exactly. Give them the jab. I think that's actually about the pens. I had no idea that your pens looked like that for Mounjaro.
I sent one. I didn't know Jackson. On TikTok, I sent one to Jackson and he sent me an American pen, empty, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Oh, that's so cool.
So I've got an American one with a needle. He kind of took out the needle, and I didn't send a needle. Well, but yeah, I think that it would stop the abuse of people lying. People would be a lot more honest about it, and it would stop people buying from that like slim pen thing from Dubai where you don't know what's in it. Because the people that are going to buy that are the people that can't get it legally.
Yeah. Naz, I know we're about time for everybody. Thank you so much for the time that you've given us. I just want to say like, and I want to we can kind of end like with this. One, I'm curious if you've seen this this guy that's in Dubai or girl that's in Dubai that we don't know the face about that. And then two, I was also just going to say, like, so we were lucky enough. We went to DC, went to the hearing, and we actually got on ABC Nightline for the podcast, and we're featured there. It's like streaming on Hulu and everything. And again, I mentioned, like, we talked a lot, but they didn't say something I said. And I was like, look, like, if we're going to talk in the language of politicians, right? At the end of the day, there's no such thing as fat and lazy. Everybody that I've ever met that has obesity, especially once they get their disease treated, they're boss. They are like the most driven people because they've had to constantly get back up again their whole lives or for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that, like, ultimately, isn't that the kind of citizens that we want? The citizens that will be like that will be working and contributing to the economy and voting and having more babies and raising them the same way. Like, why wouldn't we want that, right? Of course, that didn't get in, but it's just the truth, right? Like, I think that's what we want. If you take care of your people, it makes a better government, you know? And I just think it's really fantastic what you're doing. I hope that this will let Americans know so that we can start saying, why are other countries this? Because this is the truth, right? This is what's happening. We need to figure out how to be able to put this in place here and something like this, you know, or get rid of the PBMs or whatever, just something, because it's become such a big problem. And so many people in our country are very, very sick. I'm curious about that. I know you got to dash, so you let me know if you got to go, and I'll respect that. I'll cut this out in my rant. We could just end with my rant. But the other thing is, like, in general, I was wondering if you've seen, like, this sort of, like, bootleg situation. And then we could probably just end there. That might be helpful for you.
That was, you know, I'll tell you what, I would vote for you. So maybe see you as senator one day. It works. Is that Senator Carlos? Yeah,
Senator Carlos.
Yeah, that works.
Oh God. God help everybody.
You know, from this conversation, I can and actually even the time and effort, not just going on the podcast but also editing, where I know how much effort that takes. I have no idea how to start when it comes to these things. I think people think these productions are pieced together very easily, but there's a lot that goes into it. So I can tell that comes from being passionate about helping cure and remove the stigma around obesity, which that's something Charlie and I have discussed at length with each other. And this isn't about profit, and it shouldn't be about profit. So globally, like you said, it will create a better world. People being more driven, people being happier, people being healthier. So if we can help facilitate and drive that message forwards, then for me, that gives me a life filled with purpose. So in regards to helping cure obesity, removing the stigma, that's something I realized that I really want to have a hand in. So currently, yes, it's something that we do in the UK, but offering it in the USA is something that is in the pipeline for Cloud Pharmacy.
Awesome. We'll keep our eyes peeled.
Oh, I'm so fucking excited. I had to say the F word. My mom's
going to hear first, people.
Watch your mouth, that is lady. The best ending ever. Drop the mic.
So yes, affordable obesity treatments. That's the way forward. And yes, let's if we all keep doing what we're doing, I'm sure we can go to sleep resting easy. That we're trying to make the world a better place.
I love it. Thank you.
Definitely. God bless you on that, Naz. That's amazing, man. What you have set up over there with Cloud Pharmacy, it's absolutely, you know, amazing. Looking at it from a foreigner's perspective, it sounds ideal. It sounds like a dream. If you guys could bring anything close to that to the U.S. with our convoluted system, it'll be God sent.
Yeah,
and
please do.
The fact that it's even in your pipeline to think about doing is amazing. So thank you very much.
In every state.
Yeah.
Like an American doctor in every state.
We can do that.
That's not complicated.
That is the one thing I think we can definitely solve for.
Yeah. Well, why don't you know, maybe me and Charlie will come out and see you in Atlanta, and we can talk about it further.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, you're paying, yeah?
I will get all of the doctors together. I know.
We're going to take you immediately to the world of Coke to have sugary drinks.
Yes. Immediately we have to go to. You guys have to have your first Coke.
American McDonald's.
You go to
Hey,
the
we can
World
take you
Cup.
to the American McDonald's.
Yeah, you can try Cokes from all over the world. World of Coke.
See, I've always wanted to go to a place
This is the
called
medium.
Wendy's.
Hey, we can take you to Wendy's.
Really, a Wendy's? There's no way. Oh, that's really
We'll do it. We'll take you to all the places. It'll be
We'll
so
take you
fun.
to all the. We'll
No,
fill
Auntie
you
is
up
a
with Southern
varsity,
food.
right?
We can make it a whole thing. We can make it an event.
We'll come back obese.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're.
Well, it is the South now, and
Yes.
I'll need to like double up.
in Greece.
Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Or maybe
But I'm,
take a shot that week so that you can eat everything that you want to eat.
Yeah, I will not take it.
Might be up a little.
Figure out the consequences when I'm back.
Right. Yeah, and I'm
That's
saying,
all
we
every
call
vacation
biscuits
is, right?
are, I think scones for, well, not scones, but biscuits, and then biscuits are cookies for, and yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll have to teach you all that.
I did it
Minor
with
details,
Jackson,
right, yeah.
Treats. We'll sort something out. I sent
Yeah.
Jackson English treats. He sent me
Oh yes.
American treats. So
Lovely.
we'll have to.
That's
We have to start this exchange.
He's been on the
That's
show.
a lot of fun.
You would like his episode if you haven't seen it. It's really
£60.
Yeah.
I sent it there.
I love that. I love that whole thing. That would be so fun.
That
Well,
would.
listen, if I can ever get together like another event where I can get sponsors and stuff, then we can get lots of people to come, and we can have like all of our UK friends come and join us, and like all everybody. You know what I mean? Like we have Irish friends and everything now, or we could get everybody together. That'd be so cool. I'll work on it.
You're welcome.
Ooh, Grinch smile.
I just get to turn up.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes,
I'll
definitely.
exit you so you can dash. But thank you so much for coming on and helping us. This really does help people. People need these perspectives so that they'll get pissed enough that they show up wearing shirts, which is what we did, that said make GLP-1s affordable. It was Bear's idea.
Yes,
You know,
it was.
and that, like, just that voice alone, and anybody
right,
can
yeah.
advocate with a t-shirt. Like, let's find a way to be able for people to come out and go, this isn't okay anymore. Like, there's so many of us in America. It's 40%. Now I know how much would you say people struggle with weight in your country or in UK?
I don't know the actual statistics, but
Yeah.
honestly, when I go outside,
Yeah.
I see much more overweight people than I do underweight people. Just as a general look round, there are more people that are overweight, not necessarily morbidly overweight,
Right.
but overweight.
Yeah.
There are more people than there are not, and it's something I'm noticing more now, because I'm thinking to myself, and I don't know, it's probably a little bit rude, and therefore I wouldn't say it to people, but
Right.
I wonder if she knows about the jab.
Oh
What
yeah.
if she knows about the jab? What if she doesn't know about it? And you can't just go up to people and say, "Oh, do you know about the weight loss jab?"
Yes.
That's very rude. So you
Right.
can't do that.
Because
I
like
do
they
know-
would feel some kind of way, right?
exactly, you can't do that. But I wish someone had told me about it.
Me too. Me
So,
too.
like-
This is here forever. I wish I had known when I had my son, I'd have lost weight and had more kids. Like, thank you so much for this, Charlie. I know you got it. I know it's been a long time. So
Yeah,
thank
we're
you.
sorry.
They just got children knocking at the door. They're just hungry. That's all.
Oh, sure. Well, sure.
Oh, they're just hungry.
Jab. Bad
Give them
joke.
a jab. Oh my gosh.
Just take some Mounjaro.
Take the jab. You'll stop being hungry.
Yeah, here you go. Here's a shot.
Just kidding. It was a bad joke. Everyone who's sensitive, we're just kidding. Okay.
I suppose people are sensitive, aren't they? Like I said I was doing a bit of a snapback on TikTok to some diabetics that had been very rude to me.
Sure.
And I just went, do you know what? You could eat less, move more, works for the diabetics, works for the fat people. But the joke didn't go.
Yeah.
Like, I got some hate. Like, the joke was that it doesn't work. Oh,
Doesn't
you'd
work.
be doing it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys just got to the other end of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I think it's great. I mean, I was just curious in general, but like, this has been so helpful for us, and I think as we're getting more and more light shed on our system and how broken it is, specifically also around these medicines and people losing access to compound, right? This is really going to help people. And so your contribution to creating on TikTok and coming and being a part of this is awesome. And I'm really thankful for it.
Definitely.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
When I'll let you know when it airs, and I'll send you like a short.
Because I need to tell everyone that I'm going to be famous.
Yeah, you do. Well, honestly,
I'm going to put it on the TV.
The podcast tripled in size since we were on Nightline, so it is kind of a big deal now. So,
You tell your kids, I'm a big deal.
Yes. I love it.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I'm going to go and feed my children.
Yes, go feed
Unfortunately,
them.
no one told me when I had them that I'd have to start doing things like
all the time.
I know. Like nobody told. Like I have to feed them. I have to clothe them for
That wasn't
18
explained to
years.
me.
No, it's not part of it. You just think they're cute and you have to diaper them and give them a bottle, and then you don't realize it's forever.
Every 5 minutes, they're hungry.
Forever, not even 18 years.
Madness.
They haven't
Although
been here
18
the whole
years,
time.
that's
My
it.
mum's just dropped them back home.
Oh, I see. Mom.
Clearly, my mother didn't feed them.
Yeah,
But surely,
Ah.
if has the grandchildren,
Sure.
she should feed the grandchildren. I have to have a discussion with
I mean,
her.
you would think that, if you're gonna have them, you should feed.
They probably have eaten at Nanny's house. They just
Yeah.
want to eat again.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe
They want the food made with love from mom now.
Or maybe they just don't like Nanny's food.
Yeah,
Maybe that
very
too.
happy there.
Love
Right,
it.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlie.
you.
Have
You
a
have a
great
blessed one,
day,
Charlie. Thank you.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
That was great.
Mhm.
Man, we learned a lot, didn't we?
Man. That's
Oh,
right.
and Naz just dropping the mic at the end saying they're going to try to come to US. Oh, that will
Pretty
shake up
cool.
so much shit here. I hope it happens. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still regulations and laws and all
Like,
that stuff.
legitimately,
You have to say legitimately.
did I? Legitimately, though, think about it. What Lily did, Lily was able to do because Lily has a pharmacy. Okay. What I'm talking about is releasing the vials. They were able to release the vials, offer a cash price without fucking with the PBM nonsense, right? Because they have a pharmacy. So if a pharmacy comes to the US, partners with doctors are able to prescribe to the pharmacy. You're able to get everything through the pharmacy and you have oversight from a doctor. It's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing, right? It's cash price for medicine. It's actual medicine. It's not compound, right? It's actual medicine.
True.
It's approved medication, FDA approved medication. Just probably being, and maybe you're not being shipped from another country. It might even be here. That would be massively amazing for us to solve for this, for obesity. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden the people can afford to buy Mounjaro for $150, $200 a month. People would
We're
definitely
probably
do
looking
that.
at
Not to mention that would fuck stuff up for Eli Lilly and maybe they get their shit together, right?
Babe, you're still recording.
That's okay.
Oh, okay.
I always talk like this. I always talk.
That is a soundbite for us right here. It's, babe, you're still recording.
This has been a lovely conversation.
This was awesome.
This is a good one.
I was stunned into silence listening to
Oh
everything.
my gosh. And you and I weren't sure like what questions to ask because we're so ignorant to how that system works, right? So I think it was good to keep it round table like we talked about, because like we were like, I don't know. So, but man, that was some good education. I hope you all liked that.
Together.
In this moment, friends, I'm going to do what John has been asking me to do. At this point, my family is all in on this podcast. This is what we do. I do TikTok shop and I do this. And if you would be a paid subscriber, it's $5. It's $5 a month. It would really, really help us. It takes so much to put this show together. And if you want this content to continue, we really do need your help. We need reviews and we need somebody. If you will pay the $5 a month will help us more than you can imagine. So if you would consider that, please do. We're going to try to offer it. We're going to try to create it through either Patreon, or we're going to try to create it, or you can do it on YouTube if you want to and listen to it there or whatever. You're going to get extra content early, but you can help keep us going. Because at this point, I like to continue to fund my family. I'm doing a lot of TikTok shop and it is an up and a down thing. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I won't be able to do this forever. So if there's a way that you can contribute to help us keep doing this work, we would really, really appreciate it. So there we go. I asked for it. Happy, John?
Yeah. I am happy.
Okay.
And more content, members only content will be coming. Additional real clips from Senate hearings that I think have to do with the price of medication and stuff, just so we can all get more, knowledgeable on what's going on and what's affecting our healthcare.
Yeah.
I'm going to start putting that out, hopefully every week or every other week. I haven't decided yet, but there's going to be more content to give you guys value for your money.
Yeah. So please do. If you can, it would really help us. Okay. It really would. And I feel Southern, so I feel super uncomfortable asking, but I'm told Dave's been telling me forever. He's like, stop it. You have to ask. You work your ass off. You have to ask. I was like, okay. So I did it. It would help. Thank you. Okay. All right. Great episode. Gotta go.
Bye.
Hasta la pasta. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye. Bye.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on The Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to The Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.